Anyway, I want to show you the drive down, right? It's too bad I can't move. That's the beauty of this. We're like above the clouds up here. You know? That's the valley down below. And things are starting to bloom, starting to green, you know? And now down in the valley, it's already green. But up here, it's just starting to bud. But it'll bud fast, meaning we won't have... Down below, we had flowering trees and bushes for a good while. Up here, not so much. So as you can see, our driveway is like a riverbed. You know, that's what it really is. When it rains, it's like, whee! There's a lot of water up here, but it goes downhill, so we don't get flooded. And for the last 3 weeks, it has been like every morning is like this. Beautifully. Beautiful. Yeah, in the afternoon, it may cloud up and get a little rainy. But that's good. You know, it feeds the bushes. But it's been... Yesterday was the first day that was like way foggy, way overcast, and raining. You know, rained all day. Not hard, but it rained all day. It'd stop, it'd rain, it'd stop, it'd rain. And that's why we had no internet. See, because we have not a wire, but a microwave. So it gets a little thick, and it gets in the way of those little waves. That's why they invented fiber optics. So the trees don't have leaves on them yet. And again, like I said, our woods that was unbelievably lush is dying. And you know, just because they have leaves on them every now and then, you know, that's our, you know, that's the World Wide Web of the woods, the WWW. And so we're only like 6 miles to downtown. So we are here's now. This is really rushing water when it's raining really hard. You know, there's the waterfall, but that whole thing is like when it's really raining. You know, when we have a hurricane or you know, spring, you know, when it comes in, we get 3 or 4 inches in an afternoon. This thing is just full of water. And all around here, there's lots of these. This isn't the only one. This is what they call a holler. And this woods used to be the Blue Ridge. Well, it is the Blue Ridge Mountains, but way back when, these were the Olympians. These were the tallest mountains in the world. And what we call mountains or hills, this is just, you know, what's, you know, the foundation of that. And so the Cherokee lived up here because they lived in the foundation of Mother Earth. And why this is all dying is that people clear-cut it. You know, they've taken all the deciduous trees, all the trees that who had been here, all the grandfathers, right? And you know, these were all logging roads at one time, right? And then this became a apple orchard. All of this was apple trees in the 1870s to 1910 or so. You know, and then this whole area as a fruit-bearing neck of the woods kind of died out by the 50s. And see, so all these trees, these are poplars. They're more or less weeds. You know, these are the old trees left, and there's just a handful of them. The pines, there are a few pines. you know, not enough to do this. You know, this is like the teenagers. But right up here, those are like what this used to be. But no more. That tree is probably 50, 60 years old. You know, it used to be what that little guy was, right? This is all that's left, you know. Back in the 50s, there were trees 3 or 4 times this size. When I came here 20 years ago, there were trees on this land that were twice this size, but they're not here. They've all fallen down. They've all succumbed to disease. And these guys so this boy right here is probably 20 years old. These are like 50. This is probably 70. But this whole thing was full of that when I came here. And you see these little pines that were coming up? That's what these were when Inga got here. Those trees, right? Anyway. Now we had the road worked on because it was a total mess. Because I used to be the president of the road association for about 8 years. And I made money, so I would just pay for it, you know. And Inga would give me some money, and the people, the 9 people, maybe 6 of them, 7 of them, 8 of them would pay their share. But, over, a year. Not when the guys with the bulldozer or the scrapers or the stone guy, I need a check for $1,200. I used to put that in there. But now I live on $300 a month, and I don't have to take care of the road. And the only real reason I took care of the road, A, so I could get up and down, but B, 89% was mostly because Inga was somewhat concerned that, she might need to get an ambulance up here. So I made sure that road was good for an ambulance. And there's Inga's house, the orange house there. And our good neighbor, Tim, and he is a good neighbor. He comes up with his chainsaw when the trees roll down and clears the road. I sure couldn't do that. He fixes stuff. When he lived up at the school, he put hot water and the internet and a wood stove, and he left it there when J-Box threw him out. And he left a bunch of really great, those couches that we sit on downstairs. Tim left because he had no place to bring them to, and he didn't hold on to them. That was one of the best things about Tim. He just really hold on to stuff. Now, I ascribe to not to hold on to things. I try not to hold on to things. maybe 40% of the time, I'm pretty constant at not holding on to things. But the more you hold on to stuff, the more you lose it, and in a bad way. And so this is the sunny side of my little valley. That's Inga's house. That was the old homestead. That was the first thing they fixed up. And this is what I drive down every day. And I go slow because I look at it. I see the beauty that's here. I kind of suck it in, I don't go flying down this road because my car can't take it. I only have one car. I couldn't afford to fix it. And I can't walk. So, my intent is keeping my car driving, I don't go really fast. And that's one of the things, I still drive like a New Yorker. And, that's why I still get, tickets. Not so much anymore because I really use my driving as a tool to practice being patient and kind. I let the other guy go in front of me. Yeah, I leave 4 spaces between me and the next car, and then 3 cars speed up and pass me on the right and go into that space. Now that could piss you off, but I use it to train myself. So that thing was put there in the 1920s. This thing was put up there before the revolution, the log part. That was added on in the 20s. And look at that valley there. Look at that. Yeah, it's just unbelievably beautiful. That's why I go slow down. And old Doc, he doesn't live here, but he comes up and sits on his porch. And I have time to park my car and go sit and talk to him. Listen to his stories. Oh, look at that. That's like pre-revolutionary house. And someday when Doc dies and his family sells his property to a developer, because this is going to be developed, because just down where the blacktop is, they're already taking the farms and slicing it up and building 5 and 6 houses. Some people like, oh wow, look at this place. Oh, I want to live here, And it's only 8 miles to downtown Roanoke. You can't beat this place. But it's dying. See, they're all down there. You can't see it at this moment because it's starting to turn green. But there are a lot of houses down there. They build cul-de-sacs down there. It's just down there. And since they've done that in the last 15 years, it's, the energy has changed here, and this forest is dying. The spirit is leaving. I mean, it's still here up at the cave. When I can walk better, I'll hobble up and show you the cave. I've if you go on Dragon's, playlist, he's actually taken all of my videos plus all the ones that I did on John Birmingham's channel, and put them in a way you can see them. Where John, not so much. You go on his channel and you really have to hunt around for my stuff. I mean, look at that. You can't beat that. Down here, there's still some birds. But down here, we're just come down about 400 feet, 500 feet from the school down. And see how everything's a lot more got, leaves and flowers. This is what I do every day. When I come down, and the last 3 weeks, it's been like this every frigging morning. Except yesterday. That was one day that was, fogged in and raining, but it's not that way now. And see, the fog is, let's see. You can see the fog is not, the valley still has the fog, but up here, it's all fresh, it's all cleared out, the sun's shining. Downtown they say, oh, it's a cloudy day. No, it's just friggin' fog, which will burn off in an hour or so. Here's where the cul-de-sacs are kind of moving right up to our edge, right? So they're all down there. And they want to live up here where it's nice too, so hey, it's good. But that's why I'm out in the deep green, you know. The deep green makes this place look like parking lot. But the deep green ain't going to be there much longer either, because people are starting to do clear cutting forests there. Since I've been there 20 years, I would say maybe 15-20% of that 200 square mile square of Appalachian poverty has been clear cut. Not so much, you know, within a, you know, like within 2 miles of my front door, not in my, you know, on the other side of the hill. There's about 20 acres that somebody just kind of went in and, you know, clear cutted the forest, because they can, you know, pay the county, you know, something like $1,000, and then especially some parts of the forest have hardwoods in it, you know, that haven't been, you know, that's been forest for a long time. So they get, you know, $70,000 worth of wood for, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 to the county, and then it leaves. They don't have to do anything. The only thing they have to do is put a culvert so the roads going into it doesn't wash away. But they do it because it's, you know, that's how they get the wood out. You know? They couldn't truck it out of there if the culverts went there. So, you know, they build a road like this, you know. And someday, like the little, you know, gated community that I bought the property on, was like this, you know. It was, you know, and that forest had been, you know, cut, and then somebody bought it for nothing, like $15,000. They bought 100 acres and some waterfront, so they could put some, you know, things to berth boats, and that's it. So this is Mishka's Folly. It used to be called the brick curve, because they would throw bricks into, because it's just a muddy thing. And the guy who did the road did a really good job, and he, you know, widened it and pitched it so the water doesn't go anywhere, and it's great. And he puts these little swells so the water can go, because we used to have culverts, but they'd get all clogged up. But the swells work really good. And so he used chopped up blacktop in front of his, you know, puts new highways, and so he has to put someplace to put the blacktop. So anyway, so he put this down, you know, and so it was great. It went down, and now it doesn't get muddy. Needs some more stone over it. So this is Mishka's Folly. So Mishka got upset because nobody listened to him about what it was, so he screamed and yelled until the bulldozer guy did this. Now this is too deep of a swell, right? So what happens is a lot of water goes down here, and it doesn't go all the way off of this, right? And see how my car kind of sliding, and it's not even icy. So this whole thing becomes a sheet of ice. And this winter, we had 2 people go off this. Whee! Right off that. Because Mishka, Inga and George's son, who has a cult in Germany, he calls it psychotherapy, basically is always right about everything. So he's got to, and when people ignore him, it drives him insane. And, you know, I'm Tweety Pie, so whenever people are like that, I mean, he's truly the scholastic without even being a scholastic, you know. He's writing this great treatise on psychology, but he's been doing that for 40 years. He's always going, oh, don't bother me, I'm working on my, you know, yeah. I mean, I go down to the library, you know, I knock out a novel. You know, I got 26 of them. Are they published? Yeah, they're on X-rated, you know, xratted.blogspot.com. You know, people do kind of read them and kind of say, wow, oh man, you can't spell. Oh, that sucks. But whoa, that's like, oh, it's changed my life, so, and that's what this place has done. This place has changed my life. And the thing is that every day, in every way, your life should change your life. It's not worrying about, how am I going to pay the bills, or what should I do, or do I need to get back with what's her name, No. What's her name left you 15 years ago, and you've been waiting for her to come back, and every time you talk to what's her name, she tells you to fuck off. No. Sorry. You should look for somebody different. And basically, you should find someone you love every day. You don't have to sex with them. You don't have to, shack up with them. You don't have to have kids with them. But you can love them for that time that you're with them. You can be there 100%. You can be there. See how this is so much greener than up by the school? It's just going to be burning off. It's now 9, getting around 9:30. Now this is the steepest part, right? This is the last 100 yards before the blacktop starts. And see, that swell, that was a perfect swell. This used to get washed out, but this little thing right here keeps this from, getting washed out. The water goes off the road there. Right? And there are a couple other, this is a little swell, see, it's just nothing, but it keeps the water from cutting the road up. Anyway, excuse me. So here it comes down to a county road, and this road is kind of poorly everything. I mean, poorly built, poorly drained, and poorly kept. And you should see this in the winter. This is a whole sheet of ice. Just right now, I'm putting the brakes on the car. If this was in the winter like this October, you put your things, your car would still be sliding down this road. And look where you got to go. There's nothing to stop you. Those trees are, you're already going down the hill doing 20 once you go off the side here. And see this right here? This part always slides because all that crap. And you can see all these trees. This came from the ice storm in December. It wasn't even a big ice storm. All of that, and our whole forest looks like that because all these trees are dead. Right? Oh, just look at it. All these trees are dead. Yes, they got leaves on them, but they fall over. We had a little teeny ice storm, and 10% of the forest fell over. Right? It's a lot deeper than that. It has more of a spiritual tend, and it's because people are more concerned about money than they are with all their relations, right? So that little stream that was right by my house, this is it down here. And you should see this thing when it rains hard. This whole thing is white. And in February and March we had some severe storms, and it washed this road out. It just washed it out, It cut the road in half in a number of places, which I'll show you. See all of this, how it's like, that's paved, and this, well, that's where it kind of got washed out. And instead of really kind of redoing this road to the place where they just come and, put stone down. And there's not much I can do. See this thing? This gets full of water till it goes over the road. And up here is the Blue Ridge Parkway, right? And what sad was, you used to be able to drive on the parkway right here. Right here. But they put a big stone down there right where you used to drive, and you can't do that. Right there is the Blue Ridge Parkway. Big stones and push trees down, and you can't get on there. It used to be so nice just to pop up there and you could cut to the other side of town. Now you can't do that. They cut off access here, there, and I don't know if it's just like how, YouTube is cutting the access. So here's the Blue Ridge Parkway. We're going underneath it. Right at here. This is where things change. This is like the 5G world. This is like, on the other side of the parkway, it's still not quite so this is Inga's, one of her best friend's houses here. And I think that lady is dead now. She and Mrs. Pogue, who owned the farm, they were from old families. So there's 5G right there. It's the first 5G node. And this is pretty rural neck of the woods. And there's, so let's see, 1.75 miles, almost 2 miles from my front door is 5G right there. There's 5G. And now from here, every other telephone pole has 5G on it. Right? And it's still very nice, but there's a lot of houses. All these houses were shacks when I moved here, and they've all been bought and remodeled. And I will stop running this video soon. We just passed a cemetery that's like 400 years old. So all of these were little shacks when I came here, and they've all been bought and refurbished, which is not bad. It's not an evil thing. But, like I said, we are in the 5G world now. We are in the Matrix. The beauty. We're all where you could say, hey, when I bought that school 15, 16 years ago, because it was like being in Ireland. It was like being in Fort Sugar, Sweden. Oh, now these guys come up here all the time. Right up the hill. Hey, buddy, hey, how you doing? I used to try and run them over, but I don't do that anymore. They used to come up our road, because that was like, oh, wow, this is mountain biking, man. So this was a nice old house. It's right on the side of the river. I used to go there and sleep in that. Because no one cared, because there were none of these houses around here. But see over here, this whole hill is going to be a cul-de-sac. This whole hill is going to be maybe 20 houses. Cutting it up, they're putting the cul-de-sacs in. And all that's going to be houses. There's going to be 20 houses up there. Once those 20 houses go in, they'll be all the way up to the school. In 10 years, all those trees, all that, everything I showed you will be gone. And when I got here, see these houses? Let's see, make it small. So, all the way up this road, there's 40 houses like this, right? This used to be a farm up here. far the Pogue Farm was. And it goes all the way up to the other side of that mountain. There's about 40 of these. Right? And they built them for about 30 grand a pop and sold them for 300. And sold them again. And sold them. Got another 67 grand. And they're really ticky-tack, rotting houses. You know. Anyway, so that's it for today's little show, at least the morning show. Hopefully whatchamacallit, the internet will be up at the school, and I'll do a night show at 7:30 p.m. So everyone, I have to go to the library to jangle this up, so I'll do that. And I'll see you guys later. I love you. Stay well, be good. Okay?